Welcome back. Let's get going with Docker. The first thing I'm going to do is to start my virtual machine because just like you, I'm sure you stopped it if you took a little break after your previous session. Once that machine is started, I'm going to SSH into it. Okay, here we go. We're in our machine. Let's get going with Docker. First thing we can do is to see if we have downloaded any images. Super user do docker image list. Unsurprisingly, there are two images there. There's the hello world image and the Neilsbury image. Do we have any containers? Let's have a look. We should have a container, right? Because we ran hello world image, and when we ran the hello world image, it should have created a container from the image. Sudo docker container ls. Nothing there. That's because the container is stopped, and if we want to see the stopped containers, you have to do -a. You can now see the stopped container. Let's say we want to remove that stopped container. Let's try sudo docker rm, and the code for that container is that thing over there. Good, it's gone. If I now do sudo container lsa, there's nothing there. I wonder if we can remove the image as well. Sudo docker rm hello world, sudo docker image rm. So it's deleted the hello world image. We didn't really need to do that, but that is how, if you've pulled an image which you don't want anymore, then you get rid of all the containers and then you can get rid of the image. So far, so good. Now, let's try now to get going with our Neilsbury image. Please do not run this command here. Let's just see what it would do if we did run it. Docker run, well, the run command creates a container out of an image, so that's good. It would give it a name, and the name that it would give to it is mln, that's fine. The container would be created from the Neilsbury Docker, which is totally fine. But if you ran that, it would jam up your terminal because it's not being run in something called detached mode. It would be pretty painful to stop that Docker. So the first thing we need to do is to make sure that we have a /d somewhere in here that is running it in detached mode. It's going to be something like /d. The second thing we need to be able to do is to talk to your container. Your container is in a virtual machine all of its own, and it actually talks on that machine the port 48. You need to be able to communicate with that port. The way we do that is by typing p to talk about ports 887. This is the port on your Google virtual machine, and that port 887 is going to talk to the port with 48 on your container. We now have everything we need. It's going to run in detached mode. Your virtual machine is going to talk to the container. Let's press enter and give it a go. Alright, so it's up there somewhere, but how do we get to see what's going on with this machine? Well, I'm going to go back to the compute engine to see what my IP is. I'm going to write it down. You will have your own IP, which you should write down. And in your browser on your local machine, simply type http / followed by the IP address, whatever it is for your machine, and then followed by 8887. Here we go. We are almost into the Jupyter Notebook in your container, but it's asking for a password, and I have no idea. It's not admin. I have no idea what it is. There would be some way of getting the password for that, but it's going to be particularly painful. So what we are going to do is we're going to make sure that when we set up your Jupyter Notebook in your container, that it has a sensible password. We're going to go back to your machine, clear the screen, Control Control L. Let's stop that container that we just started. Sudo docker stop ml env, and then let's remove it because we're going to create it again in a slightly better way. Good, it's gone. Now let's go back to our commands and see what's going on down there. In order to create a password in the first place, it's going to be hashed. You don't just type in the password, for example AML. You need to find the hash for whatever password you want to use. So if you want to use your own password, you would need to do these few commands over here. Install IPython on your machine, run it, and then from IPython you're going to import the password module. Then you would, within IPython where you would be then, you would type the command password and whatever you wanted, and you would get the hash. From that you would then press exit. I'm not going to do all that now. I have done that already. The password for AML hashed is that great big long thing down there. I am going to submit that. Here we go, and I'm going to go back into my browser. Here we go. Hopefully the password is AML. And we're in. Let's create a notebook. Import OS. By the way, Shift and Enter submits the cell, and it's the same in the Kaggle kernels. Shift and Enter will move you on to the next cell. Let's have a look at what your current working directory is. Get current working directory. Right, the current working directory is not very useful. It's some kind of directory in your container. We need to be mapped into here, your Dropbox, otherwise you will not be able to save into your Dropbox. So I'm going to go all over again. I'm going to close and hold this, leave the page, I'm going to shut it down, go back here again, and we're getting used to it now. The first thing we're going to do is sudo docker stop ml env, and then we're going to remove that one, and finally we're going to submit the command, which is the full command over here, which I've typed up for you. Let's just see what we've got. It's over here where we're doing -v, which is we're mounting the volume which stores all your data, which is Dropbox AML, and we're mounting it to home Jovian, which is your work directory in your Docker. So hopefully your Dropbox is now going to be available to you within your container. Let's try one last time. HTTP, whatever it is. We know what the password is. It's AML, or you could have created your own password, hopefully. Magic, your project is there. So what we're now going to do, finally, just have another go at the Titanic from within here.